of Construction Connection. So he's going to talk a little bit about what he does.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I realize coming to a organization like this where we're talking about Eve that I really need to get focused this morning and find my feminine side. And I think I'm in touch with it. So I kind of thought about this. I think there's one thing we can all agree on, both sides of this whole story, is that men are idiots. Okay? There's one thing, I've been in this industry for over 40 years. I graduated from school in 1970, went to the Army, came back. I've been in some farm, piece of it, my whole life. I've been blessed so richly to work for some great companies when I was younger, to go out on my own in 79 and almost fail, scared me to death. The market was much like it is now with high interest rates. I got caught in that. It took me about 4 years to claw my way out of it, but it was a great learning experience. From there I went on, had some great experiences. I ended up spending about 8 years with a company out of Houston called Tribble & Stevens. I was hired to create a marketing department. We eventually grew that company to over $200 million, about 1,300 people. I left there and to go start my own company again, this time with some sense. A partner and I started a company down in Florida in '92. We grew that company to about a $50 million company. He was younger than me and much smarter and came in one day and wanted to buy me out. And it was 7 years ago. I said yes. I walked out the door. What am I going to do next? And as I drove out of Florida, coming back home to Texas, the market, it was like Rome burning in the rearview mirror. We sold our home at the top of the market. We sold the business. God just blessed us so incredibly in this whole trip. Question, I want to stop here just a second. Are all of you in construction? Some piece of it, farm of it? So I had a lady, this is now my partner, Suzanne Bryce, still lives down in Fort Lauderdale area. Through the years, she had recruited over 22 really key executives for me in my company. We were very good friends. When she was one of the first people I called to tell her what I was doing, and she said, I got this idea. And I'm going, leave me alone. I just want to get the heck out of here. I'm done. And one day I'm out jogging, if you can imagine that now, and it came to me what she was trying, how do we do something better in this industry? She was been recruiting and was absolutely one of the best. She's about really matching people, not just trying to throw stuff on the wall and see if it sticks. Her idea was to create a search engine, and finally it came to me, it's like Match.com or eHarmony, where we take skill sets and experience, which Kelly and I were visiting about, is so important in our, or that's not Kelly, it's Kelly, to see we're idiots, to match what's important in this industry rather than just what a resume might say. So we created the site, we've patented the search engine, I think on in front of you is constructionconnection.com. Incredible product. But we're trying to build a community. So in a couple of years that we've been on the market now, we've got over 50,000 registered users. What we're more interested in is educating what we've learned as being failures at different things. The construction industry is the oldest industry in the world that we know of. Maybe prostitution, but I'm still I'm not sure on that. But, we haven't learned a lot, but then we have. We keep going out and recreating the same mistakes every day. How do we get better? So on our site, we have an incredible blog that we are trying to preach safety, just basic common things. Get up and go to work in the morning, And the industry is interesting, and you understand the magnitude of it. We're about 1/8 of the GMP of the United States. That's pretty significant. 6 years ago, there was over 7.2 million people in the industry. Now it's about 5 million. That's what the downturn did to the industry. Here's what I love. In that same, about 2006, we had about 920,000 companies in the United States that reported the Bureau of Labor Statistics that they were in construction dollars. Everything from lumber companies to electrical contractors to major builders to blind suppliers, the whole deal. Of those 920,000 companies, 92% had less than 20 employees. Now it's about 800, or it's about 780. That same about 20 20 or less employees applies to 92% of that whole pool. It's very important to understand it's not all about big companies. Big companies exist for a specific purpose to build the big, beautiful products that have to require so much capital and so many people and so much expertise. But there's 93% of us out there with 20 or less employees that make up the big dollars. How do you get into those companies and how do you excel? That's really interesting because you're on a path that's so incredible. The only thing I would just encourage you to do is don't overthink it. What we do in a market is really, it's pretty simple. If you apply common sense, and we were visiting earlier about how many women are in construction in your company. It was about 10% out of about how many thousand employees?
About 2,500.
About 2,500 employees. That's not good enough. And I went back, we were talking, I said, you know, the last week I've kind of been thinking about coming over and visiting with you ladies, and I really appreciate you giving us the opportunity. As I think back in the thousands of deals that I've been involved in, where we're developing, we were buying the land, taking it right on through to selling it, building it, the whole deal, or managing it. The best experiences were with women. They don't have, the ego is in check. They don't have this run around, this testosterone is out of control, that they're just all over the place, just wing nuts. I mean, now that we're talking to thousands of people a month that call into our site or through chat or whatever, people are hurting. There's 2 million people out of this industry trying to find work, don't know what to do. We spend a lot of time encouraging them, okay, because I used to call their brother-in-law because he was a superintendent down the road. Well, now he's home drunk on the couch because he hadn't worked in a year, you know. And I don't mean to put this down, but it's reality. I deal with it every day. People are hurting. They don't know what to do. They can't reinvent themselves. And I think women are much more flexible in that arena, and bring a lot more common sense and calmness to it. I know in my own life, in my marriage, my wife's the one that keeps it all in check. Keeps the product, you know, we were talking about driving, how do you deal with people and manage construction sites? There's the screamers and hollowers, and there's those that are and I call those the fools, because that's kind of a biblical principle. And then there's those that are wise, that think before they speak, that use common sense, that don't know it all. And I just, you know, the things that just drive me nuts in the industry, I don't care if it's a man or a woman, are prima donnas that know it all, and that passive aggressive, loud in your face. I don't know why. It's just too hard. It creates so much stress for everyone. So I think our goal in life, not just in what we're doing in this industry, is there are no barriers. You can do whatever you want to do. Women, we need more women in the skill sets and the mentality that you bring to this industry that have attention spans that are greater than like 6 seconds. We always say that we have to, when we're educating and consulting, we get guys in the room and their attention span is about 2 wings and a beer at Hooter. And that's about as long as they can last. And then they're off, you know, my new truck, my new boat, whatever. It's senseless. So I just encourage you to you know, expand your skill sets, to look at other things you might do if you feel like you're in a box and you can't move that next level. What are parallel? We've helped a lot of people get from construction into industries like insurance adjusting. You just move sideways, and you'd be amazed of the amount of money that's out there for commercial CAD adjusters and the different fields that they can go into, and it's just a side step. You can get into, you know, inspections. You were talking about the inspection side of it, building inspections or home inspections. Some of it doesn't sound glamorous, but I know some ladies that have home inspection companies that are making more money than a man would ever make in his life. So don't underestimate the skill sets that you bring to work every day, or what you bring to the world every day. Encourage your friends and encourage each other. I really am proud of what you guys are doing. And just reach out to us at Construction Connection any way we can ever help you, or your ideas on education of how we can help. You know, I can only imagine what you go through in a week much less a month, and whipping a bunch of guys to not leave the job site with wire hanging all over the place. And where's that other 10 pounds of copper that was on the truck? Where did it go? I mean, we think we've seen it all. Superintendents, it's so amazing. They go every day like, well, you know, I'm not going to learn anything today. I have never been on a job site that I didn't learn something. And when I ever see someone say, you know, well, I haven't learned anything this week, well, you haven't been looking. It's just because it hadn't happened to you doesn't mean it's not going to. There's going to be a crisis, and it can be catastrophic or it can be managed in how you approach it. So good luck to you, and anything that we can ever do to help you, we're just here to make this a better industry, and I really am rooting for each and every one of you to be all you can be and then just a little bit more. Thank you.